This Day in Sports History. This episode is brought to you by the Sterling Soap Company. Sterling Soap is 100% natural and with a variety of bath soaps, shave soaps, beard balm, lotions, cologne, and many more personal care products in a large variety of scents, you're sure to find something that's perfect for you or that special someone in your life. Check them out at sterlingsoap.com. Looking for that perfect gift for the basketball fan in your life? Basketball Now is it. Newly updated for 2025, it spotlights 50 of the NBA's top stars. Think fast breaks, clutch threes, and buzzer beaters, captured in stunning photography with sharp, readable analysis. From rising stars to veteran icons, this book is a courtside pass to the game right now. Wrap up a slam dunk this holiday season. Pick up your copy of Basketball Now today at your favorite bookseller. Hey there, and welcome back to another edition of This Day in Sports History, a member of the Sports History Network. It's October 20th, and on this day in 1968, Dick Fosbury revolutionized high jumping. This was day one of the high jump competition of the 1968 Mexico City Olympics, and Fosbury was about to become famous. On his first qualifying attempt, Fosbury leapt off the wrong foot, arched his body back down, belly up, over the bar. Some giggled and wondered what he was doing. The accepted techniques prior to this and during these games for the high jump were the straddle jump or the western roll. Fosbury's innovation came from the fact that he really wasn't a very effective high jumper as a straddle jumper, and so he worked on a new way to get over the bar successfully at higher and higher elevations. And he began working on his technique 5 years earlier in 1963, believing that using the natural arch of the back could be a better way to navigate the space. He also worked on what the best approach to the bar would be, and he developed the J run-up, starting parallel to the bar, and as you get closer, you arc towards the high jump pit, and that also became part of the overall revamp of the high jump technique. The Olympics is always going to feature a world-class field, but the 1968 edition of the high jump was considered one of the toughest to compete for Olympic gold. Each successive qualifying effort, Fosbury successfully hoisted his 6-foot 4-inch, 180-pound frame over the bar with his new and radical technique. But to truly change the world, to change the sport, you need to show the world that your way of doing things is better. And the battle for gold came down to Fosbury, fellow American Ed Carruthers, and Soviet Valentin Gavrilov. All three bettered the Olympic record of 2.2 meters, or 7¼ feet, thereabouts. Gavrilov missed at 2.22, leaving Fosbury and Carruthers to battle it out for gold. Fosbury was able to clear 2.24 meters, while Carruthers could not. Fosbury's new technique that would bear his name was good for a new Olympic record. So it wasn't a technique universally adopted by every high jumper in the immediate aftermath of his gold-winning effort, but by the time the next Olympics rolled around in 4 years in Munich, 28 of the 40 competitors had adopted Fosbury's method, and of course today the Fosbury flop is the technique used by every high jumper competing at the world-class level. On this day in 1992, it was a triple play in the World Series that wasn't. So there's the phrase, if nobody saw it, then it didn't happen. It's kind of the, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to see it, does it make a sound? Well, this would be like the complete opposite of that. As in, if everybody saw a thing happen, but the one guy whose job it is to actually see it missed it, did it really happen? So this was Game 3 of the World Series between the Atlanta Braves and the Toronto Blue Jays. The game was scoreless in the fourth inning. Deion Sanders and Terry Pendleton both singled. So with 2 on and none out, David Justice came to the plate. He hit a deep shot to center in the Sky Dome, and it looked like that was going for extra bases, and the Braves were going to score a couple of runs. But center fielder Devon White got on his proverbial horse, and he made an incredible over-the-shoulder backhanded grab as he leaped into the fence. Pendleton and Sanders were both looking at Devon White to see if he was going to make the catch or not, and whether they needed to tag up or whether they could just run, but they were not paying attention to each other, and Pendleton actually passed Sanders on the base path. Now that's an automatic out, but White's throw to first to get an already out Pendleton out again actually drew Sanders back off second in an attempt to go to third. But a cross-the-diamond throw to third caught Sanders in a rundown. And as Sanders scampered back to second, third baseman Kelly Gruber dove and caught the back of Sanders' foot for the tag before he could get back to second safely. Therefore, it should have been a triple play. But the one guy whose job it was to actually see it, umpire Bob Davidson, called Sanders safe. Gruber argued, and replays showed a pretty clear tag of Sanders' foot, but there was no replay access to overturn it on the field at that point, and so the call stood. It was officially a double play, but it should have been a triple play. It wasn't a huge play in the game. The Braves didn't score in the inning, and Toronto won the game 3-2, and then they went on to win the series 4-2. But it would have been pretty cool to talk about if it actually had been called, as it should have, a triple play. Okay, how about another thing that looked like a thing but really wasn't that thing? Yeah, this episode is getting confusing, but on this day in 2002, St. Louis kicker Jeff Wilkins scored the last point in the NFL by a barefoot kicker. Or did he? So, first the situation. St. Louis was playing at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Wilkins kicked an extra point to put the cap on a 37-20 win for the Rams. Wilkins was not normally a barefoot kicker in the style of Tony Franklin. He typically kicked with two shoes, one on each foot, but Wilkins said he was going through a bit of a slump and he wanted to get back to basics, feel the ball better with his foot. So in practice, he started wrapping his foot in athletic tape, but he left his toes free to feel the grass in between them. But it's Wilkins himself that makes the argument that he wasn't barefoot kicking on this day. He claims the tape may have actually been thicker than his shoe leather may have been. So even though he kicked wearing only one shoe on this day, he says he wasn't actually barefoot, so he shouldn't actually be credited as the last barefoot kicker. All right, time now for today's nothing to do with sports fun fact. For more than 1,600 years, the Iron Pillar of Delhi has withstood all the elements and continued to stand. It has also resisted rust, which has baffled scientists. They have theories, but nothing concrete, or should I say, solid as iron. That's all I've got for you today. Check back in tomorrow for another edition of This Day in Sports History. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.